The continuation of topic about the effects of the force and acceleration. The last session we were discussing question related to the topic. The last was question 3 we discussed. And now is question 4. So in this question, a truck accelerates uniformly along a straight road. The mass of a truck, that is 2 exponent 4 kilogram, or 4 zeros are there, or 20,000 kg we can say. The speed of the truck increases from rest. So it was when something is at rest, the starting speed or initial speed is 0. And the final speed is 12 meter per second. And it for 30 seconds, so in 30 seconds it changes the speed from 0 to 12 meter per second. In the question, the distance traveled by the truck during this time. So first we have to calculate the distance. The hint to solve this, distance is equals to average speed multiplied by time, because the speed is changing from 0 to 12 meter per second. So how we'll take an average of the two speeds? So first we'll get the average speed in this example. So if two speeds are given, how to take average of the two speed? So sum them, add them, and divided by 2. So we'll get an average. So 0 plus 12 divided by 2. So the average speed will be 6 meter per second. And in the question, they give you the hint that the distance is equals to average speed multiplied by the time interval. So the average speed we already calculated, that's 6, and the time interval is 30. So 6 multiplied by 30, that is equals to 180 meters. Is it clear? Question 4A1. It is 2 exponent 4 or 2.0 exponent 4, which means 20,000. On your calculator, scientific calculator, you will put 2, then there is a button exp exponent, and then write 4. So 2 exponent 4, when you write, it will come out as 20,000. So the mass is actually 20,000. But the first part, we don't need the mass. We need the distance, and they give you the formula that distance is average speed multiplied by time. And average speed, how to get the average speed? The two values of the speed, as it is starting from rest, so starting speed is 0 and the final speed is 12. So 0 plus 12, sum divided by the total, we'll get the average, and average speed multiplied by time will get the total distance traveled by this object. The second part, the resultant force. So how we can get the resultant force? I'm solving it here, this same place. So to get the resultant force, we have the formula F is equals to ma. We have the mass, which is 20,000 kg, but we don't have acceleration. We can find acceleration as it starts from rest. So the initial velocity is 0, the final velocity is 12, and the time it took, that is 30 seconds. So acceleration is the final velocity minus initial velocity divided by time. The final velocity is 12, initial velocity is 0, and the time interval is 30. 12 minus 0 is 12 divided by 30. So what is the answer? If 12 divided by 30, that's 0.4. So 0.4 meter per second square is the acceleration. Now to get the resultant force, the mass, which is 20,000, multiplied by 0.4. So 20,000 multiplied by 0.4, the resultant force will come out as 8,000 newtons. Is it clear? The second part, the resultant force. Then the next part, to maintain a constant or uniform acceleration, the forward force on a truck must change. Explain why. Basically what happened, example, this is a truck. If this is a truck, the truck is having fuel as well. Okay, not the transport fuel, but the fuel for the truck. Like example, this blue shade is representing the fuel of this truck. Now what happened, as the truck is moving, it will consume the fuel, it will use up the fuel. So if it will use up the fuel, what will happen to the mass of the truck? It will increase or decrease? As the truck use up the fuel, as the truck is moving, it consumes the fuel. So the mass will decrease. So what we have in the question, they're saying we want a uniform acceleration. Uniform acceleration means constant acceleration. So we need the constant resultant force. And keep in mind that the air resistance increase with the speed. If you're traveling on the highway, you can experience this. Like example, if you're driving a car at a speed of 50 km per hour and you take out your hand from the window, what you will feel the air resistance. But if you're traveling at a higher speed, like example, you're traveling at 120 km per hour, which condition or which speed you will experience a greater air resistance, 50 km per hour or 120 km per hour? At which speed you will feel the greater air pressure or air resistance? So 120 km per hour, you will feel a high air resistance or greater air resistance. And here you will experience a smaller or lower air resistance. So because less molecules of air are colliding at a lower speed, at a higher speed, more molecules of air are colliding. That's why the air resistance increases as the speed increases. So as the truck is accelerating, like this is a truck and it is accelerating, and when we say it is having an acceleration, it means it is having a change in the speed. Like here the speed of the truck is 50 km per hour, then it is 70 km per hour, and then it is 90 km per hour. At which speed the truck will have a greater air resistance? So at 90 km per hour, the truck will have a greater air resistance. So here, example, if I'm using the numbers, say air resistance was 50 newtons. The direction of the motion of the truck is towards the right hand side. And air resistance always opposes the motion. It was at a lower speed, so air resistance will be smaller. Example, air resistance is 40. And here the air resistance example was 30. We want a constant resultant force. Example, if I want a resultant force of 5 Newton, So I need a constant resultant force of 5 Newton. So what should be the force of the truck? The forward force from the truck or by the truck, or the force of the engine, you can also say. How much should be the force of the engine to get the resultant force of 5 Newton? What should be the number here? If the air resistance is 30, what should be the force by the engine to get the resultant force of 5 Newton? We need a resultant force of 5 Newton on this truck, a constant resultant force. If the backward force is 30, how much should be the forward force? The forward force. We want it to accelerate, the forward force should be higher, so this should be 35. So when the forward force is 35 and the backward force is 30, the resultant force is 5 Newton. Now there is a backward force as the truck is accelerating. When the object accelerate, I told whenever the air resistance increase, the speed increases, the air resistance will also increase. So this truck will accelerate. As this truck will accelerate, its speed will increase. As the speed is increasing, now the backward force or the air resistance is 40. So what should be the resultant? We want a constant resultant force. Example, we want a constant resultant force of 5 Newton. So what should be the driving force? How much should be the driving force so that we can create a resultant force of 5 Newton? So the resultant for the forward force should be 45 Newton, so that the resultant force will be 5 Newton. Same way, as it is accelerating, the speed is increasing, so air resistance is also increasing. So we should also increase the forward force. So now to get the constant forward force, what should happen to get the constant resultant force? What should happen to the forward force? So here the forward force should be 55, so that we get a resultant force of 5 Newton. So in the question they're saying, to maintain a uniform acceleration, we want a constant acceleration, we want a constant change in speed. What must be done to the forward force? So the forward force must increase. So the simple question is that we want to maintain a uniform acceleration. Whenever we want a uniform acceleration or a constant acceleration, so we need constant resultant force. So to maintain a constant acceleration, we need a constant resultant force. So I will repeat like example. Here is the truck. You want the resultant force, example 10 newtons on the truck. The truck example was moving with 40 meters per second. We want a constant force every time to maintain a constant acceleration. Constant acceleration means constant change in the speed. But what happened, because this object is accelerating, the term acceleration means the speed will increase. So if it is 40 here, then it will be example 60 meter per second. Then example it will be 80 meter per second, because there is a resultant force. So there will be an acceleration, and we want a constant acceleration or we want a constant change in speed. So first the example, the speed was 40, then it becomes 60, then it becomes 80. In which situation there will be a greater air resistance acting on this truck? A, B or C? Which condition there is a greater air resistance acting on the truck? A, B or C? See, it will have a greater air resistance because it is moving fast. So when it is moving faster, it will experience greater air resistance. So example, I'm just using the numbers to explain the idea. Example, here the air resistance is example 50 newtons. This side the air resistance was example 40 Newton. It will be less than the first one, the last one, because it is moving at a slower speed. And here the air resistance is 30. But all the cases I want a constant resultant force. I want the same resultant force on all of them. So example, if I need a resultant force of 10 Newton towards right hand side, so what should be the force? What should be the forward force here? If I need 10 Newton resultant force, so what should be the forward force here? Forward force or the force of the engine? I want the result to be 10 towards the right hand side. So what should be the forward force here? I want the resultant force as same as the direction of the motion. So if backward force is 30, the forward force should be 40 newtons. Because when the forward force is 40 Newton, it will be 40 minus 30, that's equal to 10 Newton towards the right hand side. So here the resultant force will be 10 Newton towards the right hand side. Same way, I want the same resultant force of 10 Newton on B. The same object but moving at a higher speed. So what should be the forward force here? So the forward force in this example should be 50 newtons, so that I get the resultant force 10. And what about the third example? If 50 Newton is backward, I need a 10 Newton resulting. So what should be the forward force? So the forward force should be 60 Newton. So in the question they're asking to maintain a uniform acceleration or constant acceleration, the forward force on the truck must change. Explain why. We should increase the forward force. So how we write this answer will mention when truck is accelerating, the speed of the truck will increase to maintain a constant speed or constant acceleration of force on the truck. The forward force must increase. Is it clear? Those who have experience of driving a car, you can experience this when you're driving a car. If you want to accelerate your car, you have to press the accelerator, or you want to change the constant change in the speed of the car, you have to press the accelerator. So whenever, why you have to press the accelerator? Because what happened when the speed of the car is increasing, the air resistance is also increasing. So you have to press the accelerator so that the resultant force on the car will be same and it will have a constant acceleration or change in the speed. Is it clear, this question? That what must be done to the forward force to maintain a constant acceleration? It's of 2 marks. The 1 mark is for the truck is accelerating, so the speed of the truck is increasing. That's 1 mark. Which will the speed of the truck is increasing, so air resistance will also increase. To maintain a constant acceleration or resultant force, the forward force must increase so that we'll have a constant acceleration. Is it clear, this part? Another question, in the crash test, like for the car crash test, the passenger compartment come to rest in 0.2 second. This question is not complete, actually it is related to momentum. The initial speed should be there to solve that question. The seat belt and the airbag bring the dummy to rest. It does not hit the windscreen. The dummy has an average deceleration of 80. Average resultant force, the mass of the dummy is 70. So resultant force F is equals to ma. Force is equals to mass multiplied by acceleration or deceleration. So mass is 70 and deceleration or acceleration is 80. 8 multiplied by 7 is 56. So 5,600 Newton will be there. The force acting on this dummy. The previous part, actually one of the values missing, that's why I think in a copying I missed one of the value, that's why you cannot solve without that value. Okay, another question. A force of 20 Newton and 15 Newton at the same time on the object of mass 14 kilogram. Calculate the maximum possible resultant. So what will be the maximum possible resultant? Look, if two forces are acting in the same direction, then it will be a maximum resultant force. If they are acting in the opposite direction, then it will be a minimum. So maximum possible resultant when both forces are acting in the same direction. So force of 20 Newton and 15 Newton are acting in the same direction. So what is the resultant? 20 plus 15, that's equal to 35 Newtons. Then acceleration caused by the maximum force. So how to get the acceleration? F is equals to ma. Resultant force is 35, m is the mass, which is 14, and a is acceleration. So it will be 35 divided by 14. What's the answer for 35 divided by 14? That's equal to 2.5 meter per second square. So this was about the effects of the force and acceleration, some question related to that.